Welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies Knowledge Hub, a place to share research, knowledge and ideas, funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council in the United Kingdom. This chapter helps to address both the developed country and urban biases within research on creative economies by investigating CCI clustering in a rural, small-town context in South Africa. Fiona Drummond is a PhD candidate in economics at Rhodes University, South Africa. Her interdisciplinary research applies geographic methods to study creative economies. Jen Snowball is a professor of economics at Rhodes University, South Africa. She's also the chief research strategist at the South African Cultural Observatory, SACO. It is increasingly recognised that cultural and creative industries, CCIs, can play an important role in economic growth and development. Traditional theory states that CCIs should form clusters in large metropolitan centres in order to promote development. However, this urban bias is starting to be challenged, with several case studies in some developed countries finding cultural and creative clusters in non-metropolitan areas. Developing countries like South Africa have been implementing specific cultural development policies at the regional level that are aimed at growing the CCIs to foster economic growth and local economic development. This is in response to issues of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Many small towns have adopted post-productivist strategies in a bid to address these issues. The Sarah Baartman District, SBD for short, is located in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa and faces issues of low economic growth, high unemployment, low education levels, as well as high poverty and inequality. According to the dominant body of literature and traditional theory, this district is not well suited to the clustering of CCIs. Despite this, local government has identified culture as having a strong regional development potential based on history, festivals, fine arts and crafts, and natural heritage. The interest in harnessing the CCIs as a new economic growth driver stems from the post-productivist shift that has occurred across small-town South Africa in response to the contraction of the former economic mainstays. Many small towns, including some within the SBD, are pursuing culture-led development, mainly through tourism initiatives. Despite the local government's recognition of the developmental potential of culture, there are only a few policy initiatives that directly target the CCIs. A specialised regional cultural policy is required for the CCI sector to thrive. The first steps in formulating this policy involve conducting a fine-scale CCI mapping audit study of the SBD to identify where CCIs are operating, where they're clustering, and which domains are prominent and may have a comparative advantage. In order to identify which CCIs are present in the district and whether clusters have formed, a fine-scale audit of CCI businesses operating within the district was conducted in 2017. This method of conducting an audit of CCIs has resulted in the most accurate database of CCI businesses, their locations and activities to date for the SBD. The 2017 audit study found a total of 1,048 CCIs. The first phase of the research included internet searches of tourism-related sites and online business directories. The second phase involved field trips to the towns in order to verify the information already collected and to identify additional CCIs through snowball sampling and surveying the towns. The field research method proved to be the most valuable technique of locating operational CCIs. This research included the production of geographic maps using ESRI's ArcGIS desktop. The map investigated whether clustering is possible in small-town rural areas by a breakdown of UNESCO domains within each town to identify the locations and domains of comparative advantage. This second map identifies 4 categories of small-town CCI clusters in the SBD were identified: towns without clusters, towns with clustering potential, towns with small clusters, and towns with large clusters. Overall, there was generally a positive relationship between a higher socioeconomic status and the presence of CCIs. There is likely to be a threshold level of socioeconomic development that must be attained before CCI activity becomes significant. In order for the CCIs to be a successful local economic development strategy, they need to be located in significant numbers, or clusters, within a town. This research thus helps to determine whether culture-led development is a viable strategy for small towns. The fine-scale nature of the research, in terms of tracking the number and type of CCIs per town, shows how specific analysis, rather than broader trends, gives a richer understanding of rural creative economy activity. The study also demonstrated how using geographic information systems to produce geographic maps of CCI activity can facilitate analysis. If you would like to read this research in more detail, consider purchasing the book, Developing Creative Economies in Africa, Spaces and Working Practices. You can keep up to date with our work and research via the social media channels of the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies.